A previous report named the Indiana Pacers as a potential boogeyman for the Toronto Raptors on their hunt to make a good quality decision regarding Pascal Siakam, as the Pacers are a team that's up and coming, will be an attractive destination for Pascal Siakam, and have a lot of money coming off their books available in free agency to throw at Pascal Siakam this summer. So they're a team that could throw a wrench into the Toronto Raptors' plans of potentially trading him ahead of this year's trade deadline, because other teams are worried that the Pacers might sweep in free agency and take away their newly acquired player, and they're a team that could potentially trade him right now but aren't willing to give up a lot of assets. So the Pacers are a team that are going to have a serious sort of impact on the future of Pascal Siakam, whether he ends up there or not, whether a trade happens or not. So it makes sense for discussions to actually go down. And a new report has revealed Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster's asking price from the Indiana Pacers if a trade is going to happen. And they are not giving in, because Woj essentially came out recently, a little bomb on Threads, not a serious bomb, maybe a Woj little spike of TNT, I don't even know what to call it, need a little tinier Woj graphic animation, but he responded to someone on Thread saying the Pacers are unwilling to really deal away Jarace Walker. Previously, they aren't interested in getting rid of Mathurin in any of these potential trades, so that's sort of the Pacers' stance. They've drawn their line in the stands, but the Toronto Raptors are kind of not having it. It's basically, new report has essentially revealed that the Toronto Raptors are asking for Benedict Mathurin as well as Jarace Walker in any trade with the Indiana Pacers that involves Pascal Siakam. So basically, the Toronto Raptors are not dealing him away. Forget the contract expiry, forget all that type of stuff. Masai Ujiri is not making a trade with the Indiana Pacers if either Mathurin or Jarace Walker are not involved. And obviously, Benedict Mathurin is the guy that Raptors fans are most interested in, because he's a Canadian. He's put up some big numbers over the course of his NBA career. A guy that's only 21 years old, so it fit our timeline very nicely. Plays that wing position, averaging 15 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists this season, 38% from behind the three-point line, so he spaces the floor really well, a good free throw shooter, an efficient basketball player, and just has done a lot of good things, on the offense and defensive end for the Pacers. Not a lockdown OG Anunoby-esque defender that would solve our problems on that end of the floor, as holes have opened up after dealing with our best on-ball defender in that previous New York Knicks trade, OG Anunoby, but definitely a guy that has that defensive potential, has that floor spacing capability, is Canadian as well, so has a lot of potential to grow into a potential star in the NBA. Also is a guy that shooting-wise just makes a heck of a ton of sense in terms of what he's capable of doing. He's shooting 47% from the corners this season, is getting assists on, so he can create his own looks, he can make his own three-point shots, all those types of things, scores pretty efficiently from all throughout the basketball court. 38% from 16 to 3-point range, so deep twos. He's shooting. Benedict Mathurin can hit some middies. He can hit some type of those shots, and he is currently shooting from 10 to 16 feet, 48%, which is really, really solid, 48, 49%. So he can score from all over the basketball court, and he's young, he's growing, he's developing. Would be a really cool piece to have for the Toronto Raptors. Now, he's a guy that I just think it's unlikely for the Pacers to really give up, even though Pascal Siakam is clearly the much better player, a much better piece out there in the open market. But he's Benedict Mathurin is a young guy. I think he makes sense to sort of build around that Halliburton, Pascal Siakam sort of core. They just brought in Bruce Brown this summer, so I feel like Benedict Mathurin is a piece that they definitely want to keep. But if they were to acquire Pascal Siakam, their 4 spot would be pretty solidified for future seasons. So that would make, a prospect that they have that needs to develop and get minutes at that 4 position in order to really grow in the NBA, right, a bit more expendable. Not saying he's a guy you toss away for nothing or things like that, but would definitely be more expendable if you're trading him away for Pascal Siakam. That leads us to Jarace Walker, who, again, you look at his NBA stats and you're probably just going to say, why on earth are you even contemplating not trading this guy in a Pascal Siakam deal? Yes, he's young, 20 years old, is a lottery pick this season, but is only averaging 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist so far this season. Again, very small sample size, not a lot of shots, but decently efficient. He hits his free throws and things like that. So why would the Pacers be, look at 3 points per game, stupid enough to not really make a Pascal Siakam trade for one of these guys? Well, basically, Jarace Walker is a piece that has shown a lot of potential. He's dealt with some injury stuff happening, and if you look at his G League numbers, and obviously the G League, Delano Banton has put up historic stats in the G League and things like that, but I mean, Jarace Walker in the G League so far this year in 5 games, so small sample size, but 24 points per game, shooting 50% from the 3-point line on 8 attempts per night. As a guy, 5 assists, 4 assists, close to round up to 5 rebounds. A block and a half, a steal and a half per game. And again, those are the numbers just in the G League. And then you look at his sort of intangibles: athletic, 6'8", a power forward with some strength. He is a guy that has a heck of a ton potential if he were to be brought back in a potential trade. So Jarace Walker is a guy that does have a lot of promise, and obviously the money as well. You need pieces on top of it, so I feel like a Heald would be involved in one of these trades. Maybe the Raptors, incentivized deals could add someone not horrible, not great on these packages, back to the Pacers, or a Bruce Brown in order to make the money work. I feel like Miles Turner solidified himself as a Pacers sort of starting center for the future, but even though he's been linked to the Toronto Raptors for years as well, I don't mind Jarace Walker. Again, if the Raptors are trading him away, if, as Woj has reported, they are far apart on negotiations in terms of a contract, Jarace Walker is a guy that I've grown a little bit more open to having him be the centerpiece back in a potential trade. Along with Kuminga, these types of players that you compare from other teams, Jarace Walker has a lot of potential and is a heck of a lot better than losing Pascal Siakam for nothing. So, 20 years old, he fits our younger sort of direction. It's almost like the lottery pick we trade away for Pirtle. I don't even want to dive into that too much. But is a guy that definitely will develop, is not close in any world the player that Pascal Siakam currently is. I don't know if he'll ever develop into the player that Pascal Siakam has definitely become, but given the contracts, given the money, you have his control for a very long time in Jarace Walker. He'll be a cheap contract for the next few seasons as well, which is a plus given the fact we do have to pay Scotty Barnes. RJ Barrett's on a bigger contract. Emmanuel Quickley's going to be getting a big deal. These are all things that you had to factor in on the business side of basketball. So, Pirtle's currently on your team making lots of money as well. So it's a lot of things going into play. Masai Ujiri, I don't think you make a trade with the Pacers if Walker or Benedict Mathurin are not involved, but I mean, he's not a horrible return. If you see Jarace Walker as the centerpiece of a package and you initially look at the 3 points per game and you're like, ugh, that's not great. Don't completely throw up and call front office malpractice from Masai Ujiri. Even though it's not the greatest, the Raptors don't have a significant ton of leverage right now here at this point. So, Jarace Walker, I get that he's sort of a need in a potential trade back. Let me know what you guys think, because obviously as the days go by, it seems more and more likely that Pascal Siakam is going to end up getting dealt. So the Raptors have put themselves in a tough position, sort of waiting till the end of Pascal Siakam's contract in order to sort of let this sort of come to be. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Obviously, there's been a lot of rumors, a lot of stuff going on, so we want to keep you up to date with everything as well. Over 50% of our viewers, 77% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you made it this far in the vid and want to stay up to date, definitely hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I want to hear what you guys think. I'm signing out. Cheers.